Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. I've got a list of 6 complaints, common complaints, that I keep seeing over and over again about the Toyota Tacoma, and these are easily fixed, easily remedied, and I'm going to tell you how to take care of them. Number 1, and this is probably the biggest one, the gutless Toyota Tacoma. It has no power, it can't accelerate. Now, at the risk of turning this into a pedal commander commercial, the solution is the pedal commander. I mean, it's pretty simple. Plug and play application, many settings to choose from to get it where you want. You see, the biggest problem with the Toyota Tacoma when it comes to power or acceleration is throttle lag. And the pedal commander takes care of that. Very simple to do. And by the way, there are some discount codes and links and things down below. And there just happens to be $30 off on pedal commander if you want to check that out. I say give it a try. You will be amazed. I was a skeptic at first myself. Now I am sold. It is absolutely awesome. Number 2. Gauge cluster scratches. I'm talking about right in front of the speedometer, the air pressure thing, the RPM gauge, you know, all that plastic right in front of you, right? People complain about it scratching, and rightly so, because it does. It scratches very, very easily. Well, the solution to that is Screen Protect. It's just a cover that you put over, you know, like you do to protect your cell phone. Not as firm as the cell phone, of course. It's much more pliable than that, which makes it a lot easier to work with. There's no bolting down, cutting, screwing, anything like that. You just clean it off, squirt some soapy solution on, which is provided, by the way, and then put it on there. Let it cure, let it dry for a few days. There'll be no air bubbles, no marks if you clean it off properly. And it protects that gauge cluster. It also enhances the look of the gauge cluster. I think it's an awesome product. It's not going to break the bank, and it'll get rid of that frustration you'll have from looking at your scratched up gauge cluster, which is unavoidable. It seems to happen no matter what, unless you go with Screen Protect. There is a discount code down below for this one as well. Next up, the slippery composite bed. You know, it's the biggest problem with hauling anything that moves around in the back of the Toyota Tacoma. Not to mention, you don't want to scratch it up or take a chance at damaging it. It is composite plastic. Now, it is very strong. Unless you really abuse the heck out of it, you're not really going to hurt it anyway. But it is possible if you're a little bit more aggressive with how you throw things back there in the back. Get yourself a bed mat. There's a link down below for that. Gotta have it. It's a must-have. I did a video quite a while back. I put a cooler and some other things back there without the bed mat, and it was like ice. That thing was slamming around front to back, side to side, all over the place. And God forbid you should fill it up with food or drinks or something, because maybe you're going camping, I don't know, and it falls over, and all your ice and your drinks and everything else spill out all over the place. It's a must-have and easily fixed. Just a simple bed mat. Next up, seating stains. And I'm talking about cloth seats, of course. If you've got leather, well, you should put a leather protectant on, and then you're probably going to be fine. But if you've got cloth seats like I do, this is one of the things that I do right away whenever I get a brand new Tacoma. And you know I have a problem. I've bought a few, right? But it's one of the things that I do right away, and that is Scotchgard. There's a link down below for that as well. Scotchgard, you just spray it on, let it dry, and it will protect your seats from maybe little kids spilling things on them, maybe you getting in with dirty clothes, depending on what kind of job or what kind of work you do. Maybe you jump in your truck at the end of the day and you're covered in dirt. You don't want that all over your seats. At least you don't want it to stain the seats, right? Put some Scotchgard on there, treat it once every maybe 6 months or so, something like that, depending upon how dirty you are or how messy everybody else is that gets in your truck. Much better to just buy a can of that. Again, it won't break the bank, and it will fix this Tacoma problem. Very simple. Number 5, sound or lack thereof. I hear a lot of complaints about the Tacoma doesn't sound good enough. It doesn't sound aggressive enough. Well, there's an easy fix for that, and it's not an exhaust. I know, I've tried exhausts. I've had those tinny, horrible sounding exhausts, drone, all that stuff. I would never go with one again. And don't waste your money on a TRD exhaust for the 6-cylinder. If you've got the older 8-cylinder Tundra, it makes a world of difference. But on the Tacoma, get yourself a K&N cold air intake. It is awesome. I was a skeptic on this as well myself. Before I ever put one in, I thought, oh, it can't do anything. What difference is it going to make? I've tried other ones like the S&B cold air intake, a few others. They never made any difference. So as a last ditch effort, actually just to dress it up underneath the hood, I painted the tube green to match the truck. That was my goal. But man, was I pleasantly surprised the first time I took a ride in the truck and discovered the difference that the K&N cold air, or actually open air, it's not really a cold air intake, it's not sealed, but the difference that that thing makes. Now I have a nice throatier sound in the truck. It's not obnoxious. You guys can probably hear it in the background in between my words, and I love it. It's awesome. It looks great, and it gives you some sound. Definitely a must-have if you're looking for something a little bit more from underneath the hood of your truck in the way of sound. Lastly, number 6, fuel economy. You know, in my truck right now, I'm getting, actually, at the moment, 18.7 miles per gallon. That's a heck of an improvement over what I normally get, which is 14 to 16, more towards the 14. I think I'm getting this good because I just filled up recently and I've been doing a lot of higher speed driving lately. But just normal driving for me, lower speeds, it's horrible. Now, there's a few ways that you can actually fix that problem. Number 1, quite simple, ease off the pedal. You don't have to be the first one to get to the next red light, right? Just ease into it. You'll be amazed at what difference it makes. You might pick up a couple of gallons. Next up, put your truck on a diet. Get rid of all the extra junk that you don't need to carry around. Or if you are, like maybe you've got a rack, maybe you've got a tent on the top, then that's the way it is. You're hauling around maybe several hundred more pounds of weight. Obviously, you're going to be affected. You're going to get worse fuel economy. Take that stuff off when you're not using it. I know it's a pain to do, but if it's that big of a deal for you, it can be done. Lastly, and I'm going back to number 1, the pedal commander. Not only does it get rid of throttle lag, but it also has a fuel economy setting. If you're trying to be a hypermiler, or you're trying to increase your fuel economy, pick up one of those and choose that setting. Now, that setting's not for me. I want the power, the speed, the acceleration. I'm not really looking to be a hypermiler. But if you are, the pedal commander will definitely help you up. I've heard beaming responses from people, 2, 3, 4 miles per gallon that religiously use that setting. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about the most common problems, the things that people complain about a lot about the Toyota Tacoma and the fixes for them. Very simple things. You don't have to spend a fortune, and you can solve all of these by yourself. Leave a comment. Let me know. Is there anything else out there that maybe you don't like that you have a solution for that won't break the bank? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.